The Washington Capitals needed a new goaltender, and as expected, they've signed Darcy Kuemper fresh off his Stanley Cup win. We'll get into the details right now. Hey everybody, the Washington Capitals have a new starting goalie, and it is Darcy Kuemper, coming off a Stanley Cup win with the Colorado Avalanche. Kuemper signs a large 5-year deal at over $5 million per season with the Washington Capitals. As we take a look here, Caps officially announced it. They've got a new tendy in town. 5-year deal, $26.25 million, which comes out to $5.25 million per season for Darcy Kuemper to go to the Washington Capitals. And obviously last season was a strong one for Kuemper with the Colorado Avalanche. He's 32 years old now, however, so he is getting into his 30s. This is a pretty long deal for a guy who's already in his 30s, but Washington needed that starter-level goaltender, and they've got it here. I would say Kuemper was probably the top goaltender available on the market, free agent-wise, this season, this summer. So Caps had to go out and get it done and do what it took to get him, and they've done that. He had 37 wins in 57 games started with the Avalanche last year, a 2.54 goals against average, and a very good .921 save percentage. However, his numbers, particularly save percentage, did drop off a bit in the playoffs, where he had a 2.57 goals against and a .902 save percentage. However, it was still certainly good enough to win the Stanley Cup. And Kuemper and the Avs did that this past season. Just series finished up less than a month ago. So Kuemper does not re-sign with Colorado. They did not have the money or weren't willing to spend the money that it was going to cost to keep Kuemper. And he now finds himself in Washington. This is interesting because Washington is in a spot where, you know, they need better goaltending. Samsonov and Vanacek just did not cut it as a tandem last year. They've ended up letting both of those guys go. And Kuemper is obviously coming in now to be their number one goalie. And that carries a certain amount of risk to it because Kuemper, if we look at his career here, has been very up and down, a very inconsistent NHL career. And it's, you know, the Capitals are going to need that, you know, .921 save percentage Darcy Kuemper to be their starter. And can he do that consistently over a 5-year contract like that? Still remains to be seen, because if there's anything that Darcy Kuemper has been in his NHL career, it's very inconsistent. And it even started out like that. His first full season as the backup in Minnesota, first real NHL season. He played 3 games in 2012, 2013, but that's a very, very small sample size. He started 25 games with Minnesota in 2013-14, which is really his first full season as an NHL backup. He had a .915 save percentage and a 2.43 goals against. Very, very good numbers there. Then the next season, he started 28 games. His goals against went up to 2.60, which still isn't bad, but his save percentage dropped down to .905. A year after that, he started 16 games for the Minnesota Wild, back up to a .915 save percentage, and back down to a 2.43 goals against average. So, okay, all of a sudden, very good there. Then, his last year in Minnesota, 2016-2017, pretty tough year. Not a good performance with the Wild. 3.13 goals against average and a .902 save percentage. Again, his save percentage numbers and goals against are doing this. Then he goes to the LA Kings, has a very, very good start with the LA Kings in 2017-2018. 15 games started, so again, fairly small sample size, with a 2.10 goals against average and a .932 save percentage with the Kings. And Arizona said, hey, we might have a franchise goalie here. We're going to jump all over that. So he gets traded during the 17-18 season to Arizona, starts 10 games the rest of the way with the Coyotes that year, and is not very good. only 2 wins in 10 games, 3.22 goals against average, and 899 save percentage, and all of a sudden, Arizona's going, uh-oh. He actually did bounce back well, however. 2018-19, 55 games started. Arizona was banking on him being their starting goaltender, and he actually had a very strong season on a team that wasn't all that great. He won 27 games. He had a 2.33 goals against average and a 925 save percentage. And he was good again in 2019-2020 when he was healthy. He started 29 games that year, won 16 of them, had a 2.22 goals against and a 928 save percentage. And that was back-to-back very solid seasons for Kuemper. Unfortunately, though, injuries have been an issue for him throughout his career. That's why we've seen pretty low game started numbers for Kuemper because he hasn't been able to stay healthy. Luckily, last year he was able to stay very healthy with Colorado until the playoffs where he kind of had that freak eye injury. So you can't really blame him on that. But injuries have been an issue. Health has been an issue for Kuemper. But finally, 2021, he started 27 games with the Coyotes again, and his numbers dropped back off. After 2 very good years in Arizona, he dropped back down to a 2.56 goals against average and a 907 save percentage. Then he gets traded to Colorado last offseason, ends up staying healthy finally. 57 games started for the Avalanche this past year. 37 wins, 254 goals against, 921 save percentage. Very good numbers. The problem is that Kuemper has been such a roller coaster ride throughout his career that I think, for Washington is taking a risk here in betting on a 5-year deal on him at over $5 million per season, because Kuemper could come out next season and have a 925 save percentage and be a top 5 goalie in the league, or he could come out next season, be a massive disappointment, give up 3 goals a game, and have a 901 save percentage. Like, Kuemper's capable of both spectrums on both sides of things. So this is relatively risky here for Washington, but obviously they needed a new goaltender. They needed an upgrade in goal. Kuemper's coming off a Stanley Cup win. You got to take your shot here. Now they're placing their bets. I mean, if this was a poker hand, they are going all in on this hand, hoping that these pocket aces are going to end up with something really good, and hope that Kuemper can be a top-level goaltender for the Washington Capitals. And I think he's certainly capable of that. I also think he's certainly capable of underperforming as a member of the Washington Capitals as well. So this is just going to come down to which way does it go for Darcy Kuemper. Is he going to be the 920 save percentage guy, or is he going to be the 905 save percentage guy? And I think whichever way that does go is going to have a major, major impact on which way the Washington Capitals season goes next season, and for as long as Darcy Kuemper is their starting goaltender. So Kuemper to Washington as expected, their new number 1. And it's a big deal for a 32-year-old guy who's been very inconsistent in his NHL career. 5 years, $5.25 million per season. I feel like this could get as bad as Matt Murray's contract in Ottawa did, or it could end up being a very solid signing that solidifies the goaltending position for Washington. It's just going to come down to, can Kuemper consistently play the way that he did last year, or are we going to see more inconsistencies in his game season to season? So that remains to be seen here, but Washington gets their goalie in Darcy Kuemper. That's what I've got on the signing. Thank you guys so much for watching. And with that, please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description. If you'd like to further support the channel, the links to our merchandise store, membership, and donations down in the description as well. Please don't forget to keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.